Right now, we're going to check in with Daniel because a lot of people, what they're waking up to right now is they want to know the latest model of this storm. So give us a little update on this storm.
Yeah, and I'm just getting some more information here. It looks like the tropical storm warning now includes Richland County. I'll show you that graphic in just a minute, but here is the latest. As of 11 o'clock this morning, it does have winds of 80 miles per hour, so it has weakened a little bit. It's moving towards the west-southwest at about 3 miles per hour, so it has slowed, but notice it is moving more towards the west-southwest, so the direction has changed as well. Here is the latest from the Hurricane Center. Winds of 80 miles per hour with gusts up to 100. Here is the forecast. It's going to cut across South Carolina, and this is going to be kind of a slow mover, and it's eventually going to move out towards the northeast. But we'll zoom in here a little bit closer, and you can see 8 o'clock Saturday morning moving into maybe eastern portions of the Midlands and eventually losing its tropical characteristics as it moves into the upstate of South Carolina. That would be Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Here's how our forecast model sees it compared to the National Hurricane Center's forecast. I think it's doing a pretty good job of showing some rain starting to move in later this evening and tonight. We'll continue to see those rain chances increase. Those rain bands will be moving across the Midlands tomorrow into tomorrow evening as well, and even as we go into Sunday morning, and then eventually our rain chances start to decrease, it looks like, by late in the day on Sunday or early portions of Monday. So I think our forecast model is matching up pretty well with what the National Hurricane Center believes. Here's a closer look at the spaghetti plots. Pretty good consensus there through Saturday night. You can see a tight idea or tight consensus there as to where this storm will be heading over the next few days. And then there we are Sunday morning as it starts to make its way out of the Palmetto State. So again, this is something we're going to be watching pretty closely. Again, rain is going to be an issue. River flooding is going to be an issue. These are the Weather Prediction Center forecast for rainfall. Still maybe up to 10 inches of rain for at least portions of the Midlands. Keep in mind, these will come in waves, so it's not going to dump 10 inches of rain on you at one point. With that in mind, we do have a flash flood watch in effect. That started this morning. That will continue until Sunday evening. Now, this is the latest. This is the update.
Tropical storm warnings.
This is the update right here. Tropical storm warning now includes Fairfield, Richland, Lexington, most of the Midlands. The only counties that are excluded from this would be Newberry, Saluda, and Aiken County. So there will be that potential for some tropical winds, it looks like, over the next day and a half or 2 days or so. So there could be some winds, 35, 45 miles per hour, maybe some stronger gusts. Currently, though, not bad out there. We've got a little bit of breezy conditions. The winds coming out of the north at about 20 miles per hour in Sumter, 14 in Columbia, and 17 in Orangeburg. Some stronger gusts even over towards Sumter. You guys had a gust last hour of 32 miles per hour. Wind gusts over in Myrtle Beach, so up to 46. So here are the key messages real quickly. Life-threatening storm surge is occurring. Life-threatening flash flooding and river flooding will occur as well. That's something we'll be watching, especially in the eastern half of the Palmetto State. Hurricane force winds are occurring currently up in North Carolina, and they'll be increasing as we go towards the rest of the day for our eastern counties in the state. And Florence is expected to slowly move across the Carolinas, potentially bringing us a lot of rain, and as we mentioned, again, potentially some tropical storm force winds.
All right, so we still need to be on guard. We still need to prepare for this storm. And if you are living in the Columbia area, in the Midlands, you still have a few hours left if you need to go get supplies just to be prepared for the storm. Because like we said, we don't know exactly how strong these winds are going to be. Yeah. And when we have strong winds, that can mean power outages, and that could be a prolonged event.
When you get the rain and you have the trees and the roots system get inundated with this rain, and then you have some wind, you can have those trees to come down, a little bit of a wind, and then that can knock out power as well.
Indeed.
So that's something we're watching.
All right, well, Daniel, real quickly, because I know we have a lot of viewers that are joining us on air on News 19 and also on Facebook. So I want to get to some questions because a lot of our viewers, they are concerned about this storm. They have a lot of questions. They're worried. So I'm going to try to go through some of these. So again, if you do have some questions, join us on Facebook right now. I've got my phone right here. I'm on the WLTX Facebook page, so I will be able to read through some of these questions. So the first question that we want to know was from Katie Ogden. She says, with the latest track, do families in mobile homes on the southern side of the storm, specifically Aiken County, do they need to seek shelter?
Aiken County, there is not a tropical storm warning in effect.
Yeah.
We just got that in. But I would say if you're living in a mobile home, you need to have a safer place in mind. I would go to a stronger shelter.
Just go to a stronger shelter.
If you have a neighbor or a friend with a stronger, I'd say a stick-built or a brick-built home, that's where I would probably seek shelter.
Just to ride out the storm. And we do
Yeah.
know here in the Midlands that there were 82 shelters, 79 are available. We know that 3 shelters are already full, so there is still room available. And that, remember, if you are thinking about maybe going to a shelter, that you need to bring essentials like a blanket, a pillow, any dietary needs that you have, and bring your toiletries so that way you can be as comfortable as you can. Again, this is going to be something that we're going to be riding out for a majority of the weekend here. Okay, let's check in with Nicole Brown Chapman. She says, what are the threats of lakes and dams flooding in Columbia? And again, a lot of people in Columbia are worried about the flood threat because a lot of us remember 2015.
Yeah, the river flood threat is really what we're worried about. This isn't going to be like 2015 when we had 20 inches of rain in a day and a half or so. This will be kind of spread out, and the amounts are going to be less. River flooding is going to be a threat. If you live in these areas that are prone to river flooding, you do want to pay close attention to the warnings issued and any word from officials. If they tell you to get out because of a river flood, go ahead and get out. So we will be watching the river flooding potential. Lake flooding potential, if there's a lot of water up in North Carolina, the waters will rise in our lakes.
Because it has to go somewhere. It has to go downstream. It has to go somewhere, and that, of course, is us here in South Carolina. All right, I know you mentioned this before, but I did see a question about this, about the storm speeding up. We know that the storm, when it was coming into landfall, it was moving really slow.
Yeah.
So has it sped up a little bit, you said?
Let's see what it was doing just a while ago. It had slowed just a touch. Currently moving at the west-southwest at about 3 miles per hour.
3 miles an hour.
I believe it was moving at 6 miles per hour at the last update. So currently moving at 3 miles per hour. It has slowed down. That's for us in the Midlands. That would be the odds of us getting wind, if it stays at that rate, lower.
Lower, okay.
But that would mean more rain potentially.
Okay.
So
you got to pick your poison.
Yeah, and especially for these guys in western, or I should say eastern half of the Palmetto State and parts of North Carolina, with this thing slowing down, that's going to mean more rain for them, unfortunately.
Oh, goodness. Okay. We know that right now we have a lot of friends here in the Midlands that traveled from our coastal communities, from Charleston, from Horry County. They are here right now. They are watching us. They're concerned about their homes and their properties along our coastal communities. But some of them are saying, you know what, we're seeing some footage from Myrtle Beach. It doesn't look so bad. We want to go back. Can we go back? The answer to that is no, stay put.
We haven't seen the worst in Myrtle Beach yet. We'll go back here and show you the radar of what's going on right now. And the worst hasn't hit Myrtle Beach yet. It is on the way, and as that storm continues to drift towards the southwest at about, we say about 3 miles per hour, it is going to get worse in Myrtle Beach. So this is going to be a slow process. It's not going to be over in a day. It's going to continue, it looks like, through tomorrow and parts of Sunday as well. So this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. You can look at these webcams, and it looks okay in Myrtle Beach right now. It's going to be going downhill.
That's going to be changing. And remember, this is a slow-moving storm, so we are in here for the long haul, my friends. All right, a lot of good questions, again, continue to come through. A lot of people are concerned about the future storms that are kind of, out there in the ocean right now. Isaac and Helene. Are those storms that we should be concerned about?
No, not right now. And I don't have my graphic up for that. I can pull it up, though. Hey,
okay, yeah.
I can pull it up real quick. We can show you where those storms are right now. Not a concern, really, for us. The biggest concern we are watching are obviously what's happening with Florence, but we can show you what's kind of going on. Watching a little area, let's see.
And while Daniel's doing that, I think right now we actually have a live camera of Myrtle Beach. Like I said, a lot of people are here visiting the Midlands. They are from our coastal communities, and you can see right now Hurricane-Florence, it's starting to lash the Myrtle Beach coast in Horry County. You can see the wind blowing. You can see the waves churning there as they're picking up on sand on the beaches there. So again, this is a live look right now in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So no, I don't think it's a good idea for anyone to get on the road and try to head back. Stay here. You're safe here in the Midlands. Stay here as we continue to ride out the storm.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is follow directions from local officials. You don't want to do anything that would put yourself in harm's way or put your family in harm's way. So just follow the lead of local officials. That's the biggest thing. I can't find the graphic right now. So it's live television. I can't find the graphic right now, but I can tell you that's not a concern for us.
Not a concern right now, but again, we will try to find that graphic for you. Okay, let's see if we can find some more questions here. How big is the overall storm here? Because this storm stretches, a couple hundred miles.
I mean, we can kind of give an estimate right now. If we pull Doppler radar up, well, I'll just give a quick estimate. We'll go from this rain band to the other side of. We'll just go there. That's 246 miles, at least. That's just a quick estimate there. So 246 miles wide. And then you're talking about from the top to bottom. Again, just a little bit of an estimate. maybe 350 or so. So you're talking about a pretty large system here.
Yeah.
And that's why the concerns are still high. You're talking about a large storm that's producing a lot of rain. And as we mentioned earlier, as this thing slows down, it would bring potentially less wind for us, less tropical storm force winds, but it is going to bring more rain. So it's like you said, pick your poison.
Pick your poison there. Okay, a number of people are asking about tornadoes. We know that the storm is going to move through, and a lot of people fear tornadoes when we talk about hurricanes. So is that a concern for us here, you know, in the greater area of the Midlands?
We'll have to watch that for tomorrow. As a rule of thumb is with these systems, and I can draw that out again, as the system moves, let's see, it's moving generally, let me draw this out. All right, you see the quadrants there. And you put this in a quadrant, in a fourth, basically. And so a lot of times what you're going to see, the potential at least, for tornadoes to develop in that right front quadrant. So when you're in that right front quadrant, there is always that potential for tornadic activity. So that's something we'll be watching.
And that does look like that's to the north of us.
Right now it is. Yeah. Right now it is. And earlier today there were some tornado warnings in that right front quadrant. And what I mean by that is whichever direction the storm is headed, it's that right front quadrant that will typically see tornadic activity
there. And again, this is a good idea, a good point, why you should download the News 19 mobile app. I heard somebody ask on Facebook there, they said, you know, is there an app that we can download? Yes, the News 19 mobile app. It will come in handy in situations like that. You can check our radar, you can see the forecast, you can see what's happening. They also send alerts too. You know, while Daniel and I were sitting here talking, that's when we got the alert about the tropical storm warnings, you know, while we were live on air. So that is a good thing to download. Also, you see on your screen this number to dial at the bottom. It's 803-647-0299. That's our WLTX Hurricane-Florence help desk. We've had this help desk set up for several days, and we have a team down there that are waiting to answer your questions. It can be a question about evacuation routes. It could be questions about, you know, the shelters. It could be questions, you know, about medicine or how to take care of, you know, an elderly person that you may be concerned about. So again, any questions that you may have, our volunteers, they are down there right now, 803-647-0299, and we're going to try to answer those questions to the best of your ability. I also would like to point out that below that right there, scrolling, you see our closings. We're actually starting to get a number of churches that are starting to close Sunday services. So again, make sure you pay attention to those closings and cancellations.